So they're lemon yellow. They have these lemon yellow flowers, which gets to be about a quarter size, maybe a nickel. And they're fucking goat heads, okay? These fucking goat heads. You see these little burrs that's growing right here? They're also called desert desert burrs. Devil's eyelashes because of the way that their green leaves are. And then they start out all mushy, right? These little spikes, oh, they're soft, right? They wouldn't hurt a fly. That's getting a little prickly there. But that's how they start off, right? First it's a flower, then they get all these nutlet seed pods, and then they split off. Once these get fully mature, they break off into 5 different spots. 5 petaled flowers turn into 5 seed pods, also called nutlets. And then these nutlets are the goat head. These are the thorns. These are the devil's thorns. This is why they're called goat heads. Because it's got like a little goat head, like, you know, thing going on, right? So it's a goat head. It's a puncture vine. It's a tackweed. It's devil's thorns, devil's eyelashes. Its genus species is Tribulus terrestris. So fuck the Tribulus terrestris. Fuck Tribulus terrestris. Terrestris fucking can suck my dick, you fucking Tribulus terrestris. Fuck these fucking goddamn goat heads. And maybe you don't understand my pain because you've never had a foot full. You ever had a foot full shoved up in your foot? Then maybe you would understand. So these goat heads are a menace to society. They're a menace to fucking society, especially bikers and farm animals, pets, children, anybody who likes to walk around with bare feet. And then the goat heads have toxins in them. There's toxins in them. There's too much nitrate. There's too much tribulus in it. There's like, it's a disease, fucking toxin nitrate. And then there's some kind of something that causes liver damage in sheep. So it causes liver damage in sheep. It causes blindness in sheep. It causes nitrate poisoning. And the disease is called the tribulus disease. So tribulosis. Now, so it's toxic. It's toxic to sheep. It causes liver damage. It causes them to go blind. Goat heads do. Goat heads cause sheep to go blind. The goat heads also get caught up in the sheep's wool. The toxins can kill small animals. And the nutlets can damage not just feet, but they can be eaten by an unsuspecting cow or animal. And then that damages their mouth, their tongue, their esophagus. The way the foliage is pretty thick and you don't actually see the thorns until you're, you know, up close. Every time I pull one out of the ground, I always get stuck with the thorn and you can't see them. They are not obviously, you know, it's not obvious that there are thorns that are just beneath the, you know, surface. So, and then just these numbers, okay? 2 to 500 for every single puncture vine there is. For every single fucking plant. 2 to 5,000 seeds can be produced from just one fucking vine. 5,000 seeds. And then, so that's 5,000 new nutlet seed pods to wreak havoc, you know, to wreak havoc upon our beloved and humbled city, Pueblo. And then the goat head seeds, the horned, thorny nutlet burrs, the desert burrs, they can stay dormant for 5 to 20 years. So one fucking puncture vine can produce 5,000 nutlets. And then those 5,000 nutlets could all just wait for 20 years and then just pop up out of nowhere. So that would be insane. That'd be fucking crazy. But that just shows you how important that every single one of these fucking vines have got to be eradicated. They got to be wiped out. Because one vine can produce 5,000 nutlets. And then they stay in the ground. They could stay dormant for up to 5 to 20 years. 20 fucking years. So those numbers alone. One puncture vine can produce 5,000 new baby goat head nutlets. And then they can all stay in the ground for 20 years before germinating and then taking over again. So that's why we got to stay vigilant. If we start to eradicate them this year, but then not the next, the situation will just revert right back to where it was previously. So we got to stay vigilant. There's no reason why bikers in British Columbia and Alberta and Cal Han, Colorado should get puncture vines stuck in their tires. They shouldn't have to buy thorn-resistant tubes. Fido shouldn't risk getting goat heads caught in his paw in Alcajon, California. Goat heads are puncture and lawnmower tires in northern Arizona. Goat heads are degrading sheep wool in Boardman, Oregon. And sheep shouldn't be going blind from goat heads in Aragon, Oregon, and Dickinson County, Iowa. So my final solution, kill them all. Kill them all. Send them all to the fucking gas chambers. Fuck these fucking assholes. Hang them all. Right? Drop a Nagasaki, these motherfuckers. Kill every single last one of these. These tackweeds, these devil eyelashes, devil's thorns. They have no fucking value whatsoever. They're not good for anybody for any fucking reason whatsoever. So I want every single one of these fucking goat head, tackweed, puncture vines dead. All of them. I want them all dead. No, but seriously, we do need to kill them all as a city as a whole, together, right? We need to make sure that there's no more devil's eyelashes in our lawns and our neighbors' lawns. When we get stuck with the seeds, we throw them away, and we stay vigilant about this. The city of Pueblo should have an education campaign to get the whole city a part of this, so that way everybody on their own individual basis could be doing something about it. But there's going to be, desolate areas, people not tending to different parts of the areas. That's not going to, we need to do something about that. So the city could buy grass seed and seed the bare ground spots. In fact, I'd rather much have bare ground spots. I would much rather have a fucking, a spot of ground that has a shit ton of weeds. I'd rather have a spot of ground that's got a shit ton of weeds and fuck all the bare ground spots. So the exact opposite of what I, first said. But fuck the bare ground spots. If there's any bare ground, fuck that. That's perfect growing opportunity for puncture vines, and they will take it. They will pick up on it. So the bare ground spots should be seeded, and we need to have some kind of seed that'll actually compete with it. I've heard the desert mallow is a good, it grows well in desert climates. It's a good drought-resistant plant. It's perennial. They come up again and again. They reseed each year, naturally multiplying. So the desert mallow seems like it's a good, different plant to raise. But more importantly, puncture vines, they don't compete well with other vegetation. So if you had a yard full of just weeds, not puncture vine weeds, but let's just say, a bunch of crabgrass or, just some dormant weeds, then those weeds would make sure that these puncture vines don't fucking grow. So you can smother them out. And I think we should smother them out. We should minimize the growth of this plant just by merely encouraging natural vegetation to cover up the open areas, and that reduces the potential for growth. A healthy lawn will choke out all the puncture vines in a short amount of time. So the city could buy grass, seed the bare ground spots. We should not look down upon a weedy fucking yard. We should look down upon a yard that's got a lot of puncture vines in it. So if you have no weeds, but a bunch of puncture vines, well, you fucking lost. But if you have a shit ton of weeds and no puncture vines, then you won. Fuck them puncture vines, okay? So, contrary to popular belief, apparently some people thought that watering them would kill it. That actually makes them grow like crazy. Of course it does. But competition from favorable plants. The desert mallow. The desert mallow grows really well in the southwest. It's a great natural wildflower to promote in our yards. They're perennial, coming up every year. They flower all summer long. If you want them to grow and propagate, they'll help choke out the goat head weeds. And they require nothing, no watering, no fertilizer. Just let them flourish. And you'll have wonderful, beautiful orange flowers that last and last and last. They easily propagate by taking cuttings. And if you want to try that, and they reseed each year naturally. So, multiplying. So, that's what we need to do. That have no bare ground anywhere. Let all the weeds, the non-puncture vine weeds, grow up so that way they have no fucking place to grow. They do not compete well with vegetation. And the way that they regrow is through deep tap roots and through the seeds. Okay? So let's assume that we actually got rid of all of them. Let's assume that there are none growing right now. And right now is their growing season. June, July, August. So they're all over the fucking place. There's 50 to 100. In this church parking lot right here, there's about 100 fucking puncture vines. So that means 100 times 5,000. That means that's going to be 500,000 this goddamn parking lot, if all those puncture vines grow to maturity and they have 5,000 seeds apiece, 5,000 times, what did I say, 500? So it's just 100. 5,000 times 100 is 500,000. That's a 500,000 fucking nutlets. That's a 500,000 seed pods. So if they allowed all the fucking, puncture vines to grow to fruition, 5,000 seeds per vine, and you have 100 vines out there, that's a 500,000 fucking seeds that just, is growing all over the place. So this is horrible. This is really bad. I wouldn't even mind, in the cracks of concrete, you can't replace that. You can't smother it out with grass. You just fucking spray, some weed killer on that shit. There's one person that said actually take a propane torch and just burn the damn thing. So that way you're not just pulling out the plant itself, but you're burning all the damn seeds. And that's another way. You can wait for the seed to germinate and then pull it out, and that kills that seed, right? So we need to eradicate them. So once we've wiped them all out, then you have to pick them up. You got to pick all these seeds up somehow. You can have landscaping folks sweep, vacuum, and just, spray all these fucking devil ISIS thorns. So fuck these ISIS weeds, these ISIS thorns. We need to fucking wipe out ISIS. This is the ISIS of Pueblo, the ISIS plant of Pueblo. And we need to wipe this fucking plant out. Now, it's best controlled with manual removal. Just use a hoe to cut the plant off at its taproot. It's effective, but removing the entire plant by gripping the taproot, stem, or trunk and then pulling upward to remove the entire taproot is far more effective. That's the best way to get rid of the plant, and it's to pull right at the base. I was actually taking some pliers and pulling them at the base because I always get stuck every time I use my hands. So mowing is not an effective way because they grow flat against the ground. You have to go out and you have to pick each one of these plants out by hand. And then once they're picked out, then you have all the seeds. You got to figure out how to pick them up. Now, the seeds, I heard you could take a piece of carpet and just put it flat on the, on the seeds, and then the carpet picks it up, and then you can brush the carpet off. But people need to be doing this. These are different ways of how to eradicate this, but I don't hear anybody really talking about this. Also, get your neighbors involved on this, in this common goal. Do you want, Pueblo, do you want your goddamn city to be, being seeded, seeds being spilled all over the place? This church parking lot is going to produce, 5,000 seeds per puncture vine, and I said 500 before, but that's harder math. But 100 puncture vines at maximum potential with 5,000 fucking, nutlets, seed pods, 5,000 times 100 is 500,000. So 500,000 is a 500,000. This one parking lot's going to produce 500,000. How many other, corners or sidewalks or parking lots are there in Pueblo? So I guarantee you these goddamn goat heads are growing every fucking place. And I'd rather have desert mallows all over wouldn't you rather have desert mallows? So manual removal is the best way. Pulling them out by the taproot is the best way. And mowing doesn't help because the plants grow flat against the ground. Another good way to get rid of all of them is with stem weevils and puncture vine seed weevils. So they're stem and seed weevils, specifically designed for just puncture vines. So puncture vine weevils are a natural predator to puncture vines. They're host specific, which means that they eat puncture vine seeds and stems, and only puncture vine seeds and stems, and that's it. They don't fuck with any other weeds out there. Now, they're not perfect because they don't find every single seed, but they're amazing. Once winter hits, they all die. So the fear of puncture vine weevils taking over is that's not grounded at all. So these weevils will eat the stems, eat the seeds, and then they'll die off along with the puncture vines, hopefully, in the fall, since they're an annual plant. So puncture vine weevils are a great idea. They're a great fucking idea. They won't find every single seed. I don't know if they'll eat the hard seeds. I don't know if they just eat the soft seeds that's on the stems, right? These are soft seeds, so weevils can eat right through them, but these are like hard as a rock. These things are hard. These goat heads, right? These little Batman, right? These little Batman, right? That's just a little Batman. That's all it is. That's not a goat. That's not a cat head. That's a little Batman. Okay, well, fuck that. It's ISIS Batman, so fuck that ISIS Batman goat head motherfucker. So, puncture vine weevils are great. You can pull them up. You can smother them out with natural vegetation, or you can plant them specifically. Desert mallows seem amazing. I don't know where to get desert mallows at, but I want a bunch of desert mallows in my yard. There's a part of my yard where I dug up, and then the other part where I just let the weeds take over, and the part where I dug up is where the fucking puncture vines are growing. So the puncture vines aren't growing in the weeded area because they smothered them out and they're nowhere to be found. But in the places where I actually, tilled the soil, they're coming up all over the place. So once you get rid of the plants, then you have to worry about the seed banks in the soil. So you can't take a year off. You have to get, you'll go right back to where you started. So talk to your neighbors. Get, rally support for this cause. This is an important thing. This plant is very resistant. It prefers areas of disturbed bare ground, grows as a summer annual in colder climates, and an annual is a plant that completes its life cycle from germination to the production of seed within 1 year, and then it dies. So this is an annual. Goatheads are an annual. Summer annuals germinate during spring or early summer, mature by autumn of the same year. That means once they produce the fucking seeds, they die. So they only would come around one time, and that's it, if the tap roots weren't stuck in there, and if there wasn't, 5,000 fucking seeds per puncture vine being spread all over the place by your Fido's paws and your damn, bikes and shit. So it has very deep tap roots. The above ground leaves of the plant can be killed by frost, but they re-sprout from those deep tap roots. So it's important to pull the tap roots out to get rid of them all. Seeds of puncture vines can germinate when spring temperatures and moisture are plentiful. Of course, they don't even need it to be plentiful. They can grow in dry climate locations where few other plants can survive. They love hot, arid deserts. They're desert climates with poor soil. The Tribulus terrestris. Goatheads are the cockroaches of plants. And they're annuals. They only come up once. And then by wintertime, they're dead. So we've got to attack Tribulus terrestris. We got to attack the goatheads and their entire families. We got to attack the goatheads' children. Nits make lice, and nutlets make goathead thorns. So we got to kill the goatheads and kill their nutlet babies. Now, goatheads grow quickly, June, July, and August. You could take a 4x4 sheet of carpet and press down, and then the thorns get stuck on the carpet, then push it into a garbage can that way. But we got to get on it right now, because puncture vines are growing right now. They're in season. I'm seeing bushes and piles of goathead debris everywhere, and rocks and bare yards and sidewalks and parking lots. Fuck, Pueblo, they're probably even in your fucking ears. You got so many goatheads all over the place. Why do you have so many goatheads? God! Remove the plants before they produce their prolific and dangerous seeds. 5,000 seeds per vine. The easiest strategy is to pull the plants up by the base and pull that taproot out. Discard the plants in the trash. You want to wear gloves, thick shoes, and sweep or rake the ground to collect the burrs that have fallen off the plants. The University of California Integrated Pest Control Program suggests patting the ground with a piece of carpet to pick up burrs. Remove burrs from shoes and equipment tires so they don't get transferred to new areas. The nutlets, the seed pods. Goatheads has dense foliage, so it's easy for burrs to hide until they're dispersed by attaching to the feathers or the fur or the feet of animals and the clothing, the tires, and the shoes of people. For minor infestations, you need only to remove plants and burrs. If the goathead has taken over large areas, it may be necessary to till the land and use chemical control. They go through thin-soled shoes. If your tires are balding, they go through that. They're killing, snuffing out your sheep and your cows. They're giving sores in your cows' mouths, making your sheep go blind, taking the value of the wool and making it go down. All the kids, not only do they have to wear shoes outside, but since the goatheads come inside, they probably have to wear shoes even when they're inside too. I mean, this sucks. Common sites for goathead infestations include roadsides, places with disturbed or sandy soil, overgrazed pastures, ditch banks, and irrigated lawns, and orchards. The plant spreads through its burrs, which easily catch in fur, clothing, and shoes. Burrs also readily lodge in tires and chinks in machinery, which explains why distribution patterns often follow road networks. So they like, irrigated lawns and orchids. So people want to look down on me because I got a fucking weedy ass yard. Well, I don't have no goat heads. I don't have any goat heads in my fucking yard. So if, you're irrigating your lawn and you're acting like you're better, but you got goat heads, fuck you. I ain't got any goat heads in my fucking yard. You got a menace to society in yours. You're raising a fucking menace to society in your goddamn yard. So keeping the plants from maturing seed is the main goal. You don't want them to be producing all these damn nutlets. You got to pick them up when as soon as you see them sprouting, you got to pick them up and you got to kill them. And if it looks like they're nutlets, like they're hard nutlets, make sure you get rid of them. You can't just pull them up and leave them on the ground. You got to throw them in the trash because, if they have nutlets, and that means they can reproduce, and then they're damn kids. Nits make lice and nutlets make goat heads. So fuck these nutlets. Why? Because fuck their parents. Sorry, nutlets. I will judge you based upon the sins of your father. So, keep plants from maturing the seed is the goal. Hoeing, flaming, tilling, post-emergent, herbicide are all options for you, again, depending on the size of the infested area. If there is currently a seed bank of puncture vine seed in your infested area, seeds can remain viable for 5, 7, 10, 20 years. So don't let any more plants mature. Don't let any more plants create nutlets and seed pods and burrs that add to the seed bank. Nobody likes them fucking thorns anyways. And then the fact that they're spreading their goddamn poison, their cancer, all over the world. And then I've looked at some websites, they try to assert that there's some medicinal properties. Apparently there's some sort of testosterone and penis enlargement fucking websites. And then they help to propel urinary stones. Maybe there's something there, but it's definitely inconclusive, the research is. And if there is any medical benefits, well, grow these fucking piece of shit vines in the middle of the fucking desert away from civilization. They're not welcome here in the city limits of Pueblo. And I'm not going to wait for that goddamn research. We need to eradicate these fucking devil thorns right now. Fuck these devil thorns. Fuck these puncture vines. This tackweed. Tribulus terrestris. Fuck this terrestris. Tribulus. Fuck you, Tribulus terrestris. So I think if we all gang up on this, I think we can actually, do something about it. The medical benefits, I doubt any of it is fucking true whatsoever. If there is anything to it, like I said, grow it fucking elsewhere. Everything else, it poisons livestock. It can kill small animals, and it gets in the feet of everybody. Splinters. It could get infected. And it's just fuck. I mean, I took a bike and I just took it out to the parking lot and I just went 5 feet and there was like probably about 20 of them all on the tire. It sucks. Every time you walk inside and out, you got to rub your feet on the ground and they're all over the place, Even if I'm careful, I'll still find one here and there because them ghosts, right? Them ghosts are bringing them into my house. So, sorry, goat heads, you're not welcome in my fucking house. I don't know why Pueblo's put up with this shit for as long as they have. I know I've only been here for 7 months, but they are, fuck these goat heads. And they take, if you want to try to get the damned conservatives to give a shit, they lower the property value. Your property values are going down because you got puncture vines all over the fucking place. Who wants, to get all that shit? You want your kids to be able to run out in the yard, not to get a bunch of thorns in their feet. You want to be able to walk your dog on the sidewalk without them getting thorns in their fucking paws. And then you want to be able to go bike riding. And then just your shoes and the balding tires on your vehicle. I mean, that would be such a pain in the ass. Puncture vine taking out one of your fucking tires to your car. Now you got to buy a brand new fucking tire. So Pueblo, the city of Pueblo should do something about this. I think an education program, just getting the education disseminated. Tell people how to get a hold of this. Tell that it's fucking, fuck these goat heads. To learn what they look like. They're yellow flowers with these little, eyelashes on it. So they have yellow flowers on it, very clear, lemon yellow. And then these devil's eyelashes, and then they have like a brownish, reddish stem with hair on it. And then they have the fucking puncture vines. They got the thorns on them too. So these devil thorns, if gardeners and farmers gang up on this weed, we might be able to eradicate it from our neighborhood and eventually be able to control it on a larger scale throughout the West. A propane torch, right? Someone says, get the propane torch. Effectively kills the plant and destroys the savage seed heads as well. So you burn them all just like a deer tick. Then you gotta stay vigilant for 5 to 20 years to be able to get them all. And then in the meantime, we can plant a bunch of desert mallows. Wouldn't we rather have a bunch of desert mallows who don't produce thorns, that aren't popping tires, that aren't getting in your, that aren't causing your sheep to go blind and getting in your wool and getting in the mouth of cows and fuck these puncture vines. Fuck these puncture vines. Nitrate poisoning. There's nitrate poisoning, liver damage, making sheep go blind. So they're toxic to small animals and livestock animals, and maybe to us. I'm not gonna you gonna chance that? See if it's toxic to you. So the thorns are the biggest, problem that I see, but their toxicity I wouldn't fuck with their toxicity either. So don't sit there and boil some fucking tackweed up for dinner. No, that's not a good dinner. Just, if you need to eat vegetation, just get some grass. What about desert mallow? What does a desert mallow taste like? So, yeah. If we band together, we could get rid of these foreign species, this foreign invasive Tribulus terrestrius from southern Europe. Fucking weed. Get this fucking weed out of here. Get out of here, goatheads. Nobody wants you around here. Fuck you, goatheads. Fuck you.